Hello and welcome to Toastmasters in the Community. I'm Fran Okeson, your host, and I want to thank everybody who came today. It's a very blustery day out there, and we had a wonderful show with Gregory Perillo, and now I'm going to introduce our District 83 Director, Paula Markert. And Paula, you were here for the first show. How did you like it? With the
I thought it was a lot of fun.
With the Indians and everything.
They were really good, and the dance they did was really interesting.
And they're coming back on the April Fool's Day show.
Oh, good.
And, if you really are free, you're welcome to come back. Before we start, though, I think we should recognize an email that came out to us early last evening. And for our home audience, we got news from a past District 46 governor. We are part of District 46, or were, and in 2008, the district was split because it got too large, and we became the District 83. But Lee Abramson, a lot of our audience of the older people from District 46 in those days knew Lee Abramson, 1985, 1986. He passed away yesterday, and he was laid to rest this morning. So to anybody out there who sees our show, remembers Lee Abramson, just say a silent prayer. I'm sure that it will be heard. And his brother said that his theme his year was growth through synergy. So I had a lot of good times with Lee Abramson. Did you interact with him very much?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, well,
both him and his brother.
They were both a lot of fun.
Yes.
I made Don Abramson become a distinguished Toastmaster. He said, nobody needs that. But he was so close. All he needed to do at the end of that year was get one more new member.
Oh, wow.
And I had a woman in one of my clubs who brought in a lady who wanted to join. And I said, I'm not going to mention names on the air. I said, if you let me give that lady to my friend over in New Jersey, I'll give you the first two people I get next year. She did, and I went over to their meeting, and I presented it to him, and I said, folks, a round of applause. He's filing his DTM.
Good for him.
So I figured 2 for 1.
Good for you.
Lee Abramson, I sometimes people just don't know how to close up a deal like that. Yeah. And sometimes, you do.
Sometimes it just works out.
You're absolutely right. Now, let's just see what we're doing here on this show. And there's my script. Okay. Everybody's in place? Okay. So, let's see. I guess I'm starting. All right. Today we're going to be talking about the Boy Scouts. We were going to do it last month in February. No, March is the Girl Scouts. That's why I gave Greg a box of the Girl Scout trefoils. I figured I wanted to bring that Girl Scout thing into March a little bit. So you've been, Willie's an official in the Boy Scouts, but you've been involved with Boy Scouts. You have a son?
I've got 2 sons. Both of them are Eagle Scouts, and I've been involved ever since the oldest one, who is now 38, was 6 years old. So I've been involved in Boy Scouts for 32 years. Well,
my son Peter is in the control room, and Peter's been involved with the Girl Scouts since before he was a Boy Scout, because he had to go where I went, because I couldn't leave a little boy home. So I started to talk about some of the things just to people always wondered, how did he do so much community service? We were both merit badge counselors, and I was a merit badge counselor for the Troop 21 in Tottenville, which I just found out recently folded after all those years, my goodness. And in fact, he had a project that I was on the first board of something on Staten Island called Boys Hope. It was a home for boys who had a bad home life. They weren't into drugs or anything like that. They were just nice boys in a bad family situation. And it was run by the Jesuits, and I was invited to become part of their beginning board. And we used to go to the house and everything. And my Girl Scouts were earning their religion award. So they said, Mrs. We can make candles. We're going to have the Mass at the Boys Hope home in Greg Hills. So I said, how do you make candles? We all have crayons. So from I had juniors, cadets, and seniors a long time ago. So, of course, Peter got involved with everything that was going on with the Girl Scouts. And Father Bill O'Leary, who was trained in Boys Town, was in Nebraska, I believe, said that we could have a Mass at the house because he picked a day when the 2 nuns that were in charge were off doing something else, and the boys had a vacation, so the house was empty. So they came to my house, and according to the rules of the Girl Scout, the award that they were going for, the religion award, you had to do a project, and you had to, like our HPL project, basically that. So I told Bill that they were going to make candles for the service, for the Mass. And he said, well, this sounds interesting. So the girls brought all their crayons and they boiled them on my stove, and whatever the girls did, they made their candles. Then we had another meeting where Bill came, and it was, I guess it was cool because he was in some sort of jeans or something and like a lumber shirt. And most of my girls were Catholic, but a couple were Protestant girls. And he helped them pick out what the prayers they wanted to do during the Mass, and he outlined the whole Mass with their help. And when he left, one of the girls said, Mrs. O, is he really a priest? He didn't look like one. I said, well, they don't always have to wear black, you know. So, all right, so now we get ready to go to Boys Hope to have our event. And Peter was the altar server, so he sat at one end of the table with Bill, and I sat at the other, almost like mom and pop, and the girls were all here. And as we proceeded, my daughter could keep a stoned face no matter if the whole place was blowing up. She would not react, which is very annoying sometimes. I hope you're not watching. Well, all of a sudden you heard, they had, when they were stirring the crayons, I guess air got into the wax.
Oh, gee.
And they started fizzing and popping and fizzing and popping. And of course, Bill was, and he said to me, what we'll do is, he said, we'll order pizza for the kids after. And what I do up at school, because he taught in the city, I usually have my class lay on the floor and just calm down, get serene, and then we can have a pizza party. Well, Peter couldn't contain it. Peter, when he gets a funny joke, he can't contain it. So I'm looking at the table with him, and and they're all staring at these candles. My daughter was sitting there like a saint. I was dying. And all of a sudden, one of them just, shoot! Peter lost it, and the girls totally lost it. And it was horrible. So the pizza pies came. I went in the kitchen to help Bill, and he said, we're not having them lay down to meditate. That's out completely, because they couldn't have handled that at all. But what we did do, we decided the Tottenville beaches are in the conference house all the way down to Page Avenue, which encompasses the whole south end of Staten Island. In fact, 3 blocks away from my house is the very tip of New York State. At my daughter's confirmation, the bishop told us that this was the very last. I never even realized. You know, Greg is right on the water, right at the point, and he's about, maybe a mile away from me. Okay, so Peter decided he was going to come. Of course, he had to come to the beach cleanup. We got the sanitation truck. They dropped bags. They came back during the day and picked up stuff. They cleaned the whole place, and Peter worked along with the girls, and at the end of it, he got a letter, which they all do, with a certificate from the Littoral Society for cleaning up the beaches in Tottenville. Nice. Now, with the Tottenville Library, the backyard of the Tottenville Library was just brambles, weeds and brambles. And so I got in touch with the library to see if we could take it as a project and clean it up. So Peter joined us, and we went house to house all over Tottenville asking for plants, shoots, or whatever people could give us. That was in spring, and they were all pruning their gardens. And when I told John Markey about it, our late senator, he came to the unveiling of the new garden in the backyard. So Peter was weaned on Girl Scouts, which took him right into the Boy Scout things that he had to do, because he was used to getting his hands dirty. In fact, once the library was dedicated, Peter and his father went up every Saturday, and they watered the lawn and cleaned up around the garden. Eventually, the library was so pleased that they took over the maintenance of the library, and we lost our job. So that's the way things go.
That's the way it happens.
That's the way it happens. But it was a very, I would persuade everyone who knows that they have any child at all, whether their own or even a neighborhood child, recommend scouting. We're going to hear from the scouts now. But putting kids into scouting at an early age and guiding them through those years, it's very, very important. They may not, it's fun, it's work, and the parents have to be involved.
Yes, that's definite.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on to our other speakers, and let me just see what we've got over here. Yes, hi, Sue, how are you? You look very official. I hope Richard is taking pictures of you formally. This is Sue Brooks, who is our District Public Relations Manager. It was so easy when I was PRO, Public Relations Officer. These new names, I get so confused. Doesn't she look sharp in her uniform, though? Anyway, all right. Sue, let me get to the next page. And I will tell the folks what you're going to be doing. You are a DTM, a Distinguished Toastmaster, and you're working on speech number 2 from the Special Occasions Advanced Manual, Speak in Praise. You have 5 minutes. Diane King is your evaluator. Diane's a DTM as well. And I don't know what you're going after. What type are you? I'm very interested. I didn't want to ask you ahead of time because I wanted you to surprise me. Let's all welcome Sue Brooks.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, studio audience, and audience at home. The speech today is commemorating a dear friend of mine, fellow Scout leader, who passed away just before Thanksgiving, Maureen Tegetoff. A school nurse for her career, a Scout leader, merit badge counselor, troop committee member, and fundraising chair. Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow, Scouting's Honor Society. Maureen Tegetoff, you brought so much to our troop, to our order, and to the Scouts in general, to our fundraising efforts. The reason I'm asking everybody, what type are you, is to consider, what are you doing to help other people? What are you doing to help your community? What are you doing to help the young people? Let me tell you a few things about Maureen and her life and her contributions to Scouting, and you consider, please, what type are you? Maureen was the type of person who gave selflessly of herself to others as a school nurse. As a merit badge counselor in our troop, she helped the boys understand the basics of first aid, which then in turn allowed them to pursue additional merit badges and to master the fundamentals to help them through their own rank advancement as they went along on their trail to Eagle. Not only did Maureen encourage the boys to get involved with first aid, but she was also a merit badge counselor for emergency preparedness, one of the options a boy could choose as he pursued his Eagle, or he could pursue life-saving. But Maureen helped us not just with emergency preparedness for the boys, but engage the entire community. She was a member of the Office of Emergency Management, OEM, as you might know it with the acronyms, and invited everybody to participate in emergency drills. So not only did she help the boys in the troop, but she helped the community at large. That was one of Maureen's shining star attributes. I will fondly remember several occasions where I participated in some of these drills. But it didn't stop there. The boys got their families to come out and help out, because these drills don't just involve one boy or several boys. It involves people who are of all shapes and sizes. So Maureen got us all together, and we participated in the drills, and the people in the emergency management groups had a successful drill. How else did Maureen help us? Maureen helped us by providing several fundraising opportunities, whether it was candy sales in front of the church or selling Christmas wreaths or something in front of the church. She always had something to offer us so the boys could earn their way for uniforms such as these, for scouting opportunities at summer camp, high adventure. Maureen came to several of the scout meetings and lent her expertise, taught the boys so the boys could then teach others. I remember we also carpooled to several events where we were looking for saving gas, not having to take too many cars, and her young son Stephen said, "Mom, you're not supposed to drink and drive," as Maureen picked up her water bottle to take a sip. And Maureen had to explain, it was water, it's not alcohol. Sadly, Maureen passed away after a brief illness shortly before Thanksgiving, and our troop decided to hold a blood drive in her memory. Maureen needed several pints of blood, and the family said, let's have a blood drive. So whether you are A, B, AB, or O, negative or positive, it really doesn't matter as long as you are the type of person who is caring and gives back to their community, just like Maureen Tegetoff. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Sue.
Very nice.
I have rare blood. That's why the mosquitoes like me.
Is that why?
Yeah, I can't go out with them. Okay, who's this now?
Isaac.
Oh, no, Paul.
Excuse me, Paul.
Paul, do you want to sit down and give your speech? I don't like you standing feeling that way. Paul,
5 minutes, I'll handle it.
you can sit down, you know, there's a high chair right there.
Yeah.
Can somebody get that chair, please, and bring it to
All
Paul?
right.
Paul, come on. Someone quickly get that chair over there for him, please.
You're going to make the show worse than it is.
No, I can feel your pain.
Yeah.
It's a lot better to do it that way.
There's no shame in doing it that way.
Okay. Feel better, Paul?
Yeah, sort of.
All right.
We'll manage.
All right. Our next, I was almost going to say our next contestant.
Yeah.
It's been such a busy day. Our next speaker is past District Governor Paul J. Scharf, DTM 6. And Paul, let's see, you're doing speech number 6, vocal variety. I'm glad it's not your body movements because
No, not
today he
today.
can't move today. So
I can show you a lot of body movements.
and you're taking your prop home with you today. It's too heavy for us. Jeez, like bringing a cannon. Oh, we have Ken evaluating you. You have 5 minutes, and your title is What to Do with an Axe. Paul Scharf.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and viewing audience, I have a book here. It's called a Scout Field Book. It's 67 years old. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about this piece of equipment, the axe, or hatchet, as you'll hear in a minute. I want to read a paragraph or two, and then I'll talk about parts of it. I suppose you scouts can get along on a desert island with nothing but an axe. That's what some smart Alex said once. He meant it for a wisecrack, but really it isn't so far from the truth. Robinson Crusoe had a man called Friday. Well, your axe is your Friday. When you know how to use it, it will help you build your shelter, make your raft, start a fire, keep you comfortable in all kinds of weather. Of course, there are axes, and then there are axes. Your patrol needs two kinds for camping. One is a short-handled axe called a hatchet. This is the short-handled axe. The other, this one happens to be also 1.5, has 1.5 pound head. The other is the axe, which has a 2.5 to 3 pound head. That one I'm not showing you because I don't have it with me. A little bit of information about an axe and how to use the axe properly. First of all, you want to keep the handle tight. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about this axe. It's also about 65 years old. As you can see, it's already taped. So that handle is held on pretty tight right now. You want to keep the axe off the ground. When we mean by off the ground, never lay it on the ground and never aim it so that the blow, which is the front of the axe or the head of the axe, the blow, is in sand or in dirt. No good. The blow should always have a cover on it. You want to never touch a living tree. Again, never touch a living tree unless with definite permission and for a definite purpose. The greatest misuse of an axe is to mar trees with it, intentionally or just thoughtlessly. A green tenderfoot, a new scout, may sometimes do that because he doesn't know any better. Not you. An axe is not a hammer, it's not a maul, and it's not a wedge. Don't use it as one. You want to clear the ground, and you want to clear the ground an axe length around. An axe length is the combined length of your arm and your axe. So you don't want anything that close or closer than this area in order to use it properly and in order to be safe with people in the area. Onlookers themselves should be 2 axe lengths away from you. Rest when you're tired. Don't use the axe when you're tired. That's dangerous. You want to keep the axe masked when you're not using it. And masking is the sheath. So you always want to keep it masked when you're not using it. You want to keep it sharp, and you want to keep it clean, and you want to keep it in good shape so that it, in fact, will be probably one of the best and most important pieces of equipment that you will have when you go camping. The axe is your friend if you use it properly. Madam Toastmaster.
Oh, thank you very much, Paul. Very interesting. That's one thing the Girl Scouts didn't use.
Axes?
Axes. Axes. Or hatchets.
Or hatchets.
I remember one time we took the girls down to the Tottenville Beach to have a cookout, and my co-leader brought a big can of something, and they emptied it and turned it upside down in the sand. They were putting the hot dogs on. They kept rolling off into the sand. So I watched this for a few minutes, and all of a sudden I said, "Nancy, do you have a knife with you?" Her name was Nancy Orman. She passed away. And she said, "Yeah, why?" I said, "Why don't you just cut the hot dogs in half and lay them down? They won't move."
They won't move then.
Nobody thought about it, so I was praised for the day.
Well,
it seems simple.
Thinking outside the box.
Oh, there's always a way to get the job done. All right. Oh, guess who's next? Guess who's next? Okay, you can do it from there. All right, our District 83 Director, Paula Market, DTM. Are you going for a second DTM?
The rate I'm going, probably not. But I'm trying.
Do you have a lot to do?
I have quite a bit to do yet.
Really? Let me know if you have to come on here and do something in, the video manual or something like that.
Okay.
Let me know, okay?
All right.
All right, speech number. You never did give me that. What's your
Speech
number?
number 3,
In what, CC manual?
CC manual.
All right, get to the point. Very good. 5 minutes. Lucy Kahn is your evaluator. And I have no idea what this is. It's in the stars. Thank you. Let's all welcome Paula Market.
Thank you, Fran.
You're welcome.
Thank you, studio audience. When I was 12 years old, my father retired from the military. And we left a small town in Pennsylvania to move to a very rural area. It was very rural. I'm talking about no neighbors for miles, no street lights, and no city lights. But there was one thing that I remember very vividly about our move, and this has been with me for years. At nighttime, we would sit outside around a small campfire and stare up at the sky and wonder about the thousands of stars. We would see Orion's Belt, Sagittarius, and the Seven Sisters. We would find the Little Dipper in order to find the Big Dipper, in order to find the North Star. So why am I telling you all of this about my early life? It's in the stars. When I was elected as District 83, Toastmasters District 83 District Director, I was given the opportunity to present my official, unofficial theme for the year. I chose District 83, Shining Stars. A very simple theme. Might sound simple from the beginning, but it has more to it than you would think about. You see, I think that all the members of District 83 are stars. There are those whose stars are not very bright. These are our new members. These are the people who have just joined, who are just getting started. They come to us with just a little glimmer. And with each and every educational and leadership project, their light grows stronger. They're flickering with anticipation and excitement. They're the young ambassadors to the new people coming into our organization. Then we have our steady shining stars, our DTMs, and our seasoned members, those who have been in Toastmasters for a while and are happy and enjoying the adventure of the program. Their glow is steady. Their influence is felt in their contributions to the district. They are looked up to. They are the firm rocks for our membership, showing what can be achieved and how to achieve it. Now, we also have some shooting stars. These are our members who are flying off with zeal in all sorts of directions. They're attacking the program, but often they leave it almost as soon as they have begun. And finally, there are our bright, shining stars, those members who have been with us for a while, the members we turn to when we need guidance and help. People like Fran Okeson, Paul Scharf. These are our so-called beacons to anyone who follows the Toastmaster path. These Toastmasters and their stars glow with a bright white brilliance. Stars are part of our lives. They have been for many years. The ancient mariners would use the stars to guide their path across oceans that had no real navigational maps. They set sail on these wide oceans, not knowing where they would really end up. The ancients saw their religion in our stars. The zodiac signs are all a part of history. Even today, we find real interest in the astrological signs. Today in the business world, we often use the term find your true north, a reference to the stars. The stars are a part of our everyday lives. Toastmasters, the program, gives us all an opportunity to be stars. We can act as guides to other newer members. We can mentor. We can advise. We can evaluate. We can expand our own roles and our own talent to be role models for other Toastmasters. We are here to be shining stars. I think that all the members of District 83 should think of themselves as stars. Not just me thinking of them as stars, but they should think of themselves as stars. They're glowing and shining for themselves and others. They're here to grow in their light and to help others to grow. I'd like to think if I were in outer space, I could look down and see a bright, shining cloud over the state of New Jersey. This would be the Toastmasters of District 83, shining so that all could see them. Toastmasters, District 83, shining stars.
Excuse
Madam
me.
Toastmaster.
And Staten Island, New York is in District
Oh,
83.
sorry
You
about
left us
that.
out.
I left you out.
My
So I'll
goodness.
finish that off again. I'd like to think if I were in outer space, I could look down and see a bright, shining a cloud over the state of New Jersey and Staten Island and parts of Rockland County, New York. This would be the Toastmasters of District 83. Shining so
And
all
we're
could
not
see them.
skilled enough to take that out, so it's going to stay.
It's going to
It
stay.
just means that no one is perfect, Paula, not even the district director.
Nobody ever claims to be perfect,
I know.
especially me.
That's why Greg Perillo always says, nobody's perfect except God.
That's for sure.
That's it.
That's for
So
sure.
you're in good company.
Yes.
Thank you. That was very nice.
Thank
Very,
you.
very nice
Thank you
thoughts.
for having us be here.
I'd love you to come back again. Let's get that second DTM. Jeez.
I still have 3 years
What's going to happen in 3 years?
with the new program coming out.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Tony Figueroa is coming to my July show to do the whole
Pathways.
the whole pathways, and then I'm going to be selling those discs to anybody who wants them, so they go home and watch it. But I gave him as much time. The whole first show is him,
Yeah.
so I
You'll
think
need
he'll
that
do-
much time.
He said about 45 minutes, but instead of table topics, he suggested that we ask the people in the studio to come up and ask questions
Yeah.
that maybe they would like him just to hone in on. It'll be a very educational tape. Maybe whoever's our district director at the time might put them up for sale, and it'll be a fundraiser for the club.
Cool.
But Tony's been going around the world teaching this pathways, so I thought he'd be the good one to do it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And I understand Paul and somebody else from our group, and Rachel, is it, are the ambassadors this
Willie's
year.
an ambassador, too. Willie's ambassador.
Oh, I didn't. Well,
Yeah.
he's from Jersey.
Oh, sorry.
Paul is in our group here. He belongs to this club.
Yes.
No, it's, well, I found out one thing, though, because I called California and I said, I have a complaint. I have been the HPL, High Performance Leadership Advisor, since back in District 46, all right? I said, now, someone told me that the new name for the HPL program is, and I wrote it down very quickly. When I got off the phone, I said to Peter, that's what they're going to call the HPL. I've been the advisor all these years. He said, Mom, look at the initials. It was PCP. I said, wait a minute, isn't that a drug? He said, yeah. So I called California and I said, excuse me, but, you know, I know
New
you...
PCP program.
I said, I do not want to, well, now they don't put those other jobs that you have on your badge, but they used to put them on the badge. I said, no. So when I called about a week ago for another problem, not a problem, but I talk to them all the time, and I said, have they done anything about that PCP? She said, yes, somebody heard you because it's going to stay HPL.
Oh, good.
Yes,
That's
yes,
good.
so
And
that's
that's
what-
what we know, that we want to keep little basics of the program
Oh,
the same.
it's been the HPL for years.
Yeah.
PCP. Don't they
So
realize
they
that
could have PCP director or PCP leader or PCA
that would be terrible,
distributor.
terrible, terrible. All right, Willie Market. Thank you. I made you a DTM and I had to change things out. You are an advanced communicator bronze. What's keeping you so long? You've been around a long time.
I'm on the slow train, Fran.
Jeez. Oh, you never know when the maker's going to come down, so you got to sow your oats when you can. And you're a competent leader. Willie, if I can do anything to help you here, just come on. If you're getting into that video manual, the last one has to be done on TV. So, you know, just look. Have you either one of you done that manual?
No.
So why don't you plan on it? Plan on it, and you do read the. Do you have the manual?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the
Read
manual.
through it. I've done it many, many times, and it's fun.
We'll have to look into it.
Do, yeah, because that manual, you have to do it, the last speech has to be done on camera and seem like, geez, he's getting bossy down there. Willie, what speech number are you doing since,
Project number 2, Fran.
all right, this is organize your speech. And Alex Worland is your evaluator, and you have 7 minutes, Willie, because your wife switched with you if you need it. And your title is A Game with a Purpose. Willie, mark it.
A scout is loyal, trustworthy, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. That is the Scout law. How do we teach Scouts the meaning of those words? More importantly, how do they internalize those words into their everyday life? I'd like to share a little bit about the Scouting movement with you. The Scouting movement was founded by Robert Baden-Powell in 1906 in England. The Boy Scouts of America was established in 1910 by an act of Congress. The American Scouting movement was patterned after Baden-Powell's Scouting program. Baden-Powell had a favorite saying. He always said that Scouting is a game with a purpose. Before I explain that a little, it would be helpful if we know what the mission of the Boy Scouts of America is. Its mission is to help prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Law. The Scout Oath says, "On my honor, I will do my duty to do my best to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, morally awake, and mentally straight." Boy Scouting is a boy-run program. Adults are there to supervise, to make sure there is a healthy and safe environment, and to mentor our youth. Boy Scout troops are organized by patrols. Each patrol usually consists of 6 to 8 scouts. A patrol leader is elected by members of the patrol. One of the goals of the Scouting program is leadership development. Scouts are given the opportunity to plan, organize, and run weekly meetings and monthly activities. At each skill, the more experienced Scouts teach newer Scouts a skill. The plan for each meeting is developed by the Patrol Leaders Council. They brainstorm a variety of ideas and decide what skills will be taught at the weekly meetings. At the meetings, the skill is taught. It is reinforced by demonstrations within the patrol and by having the newer Scouts practice and then demonstrate those newly learned skills. At the monthly campout, there are planned activities which make use of the skills which have been learned during that month. You probably recall when I recited the Scout Oath that phrase, "to help other people at all times." First aid is one of the skills that Scouts are taught. They are taught to learn to recognize things such as stroke, heat exhaustion, choking, and a variety of other medical emergencies. They react in a variety of ways depending on the situation. Now, some of you may be skeptical as to whether this training really works. Ask Ann Curry, an NBC photojournalist. On April 5th, 2014, Ann and her husband were hiking at Bear Mountain when she fell and broke her leg. It just so happened that Boy Scouts from Berkeley Heights Troop 368 were also hiking Bear Mountain that day, and they passed by Curry. One of the scouts asked her if she was okay. Ann said that she had fallen and thought she broke her leg. The boys immediately went into the woods and gathered branches, which they fashioned into a splint for her swelling leg. They then used a tarp and 2 poles to make a makeshift stretcher. They tested it on one of the scouts before they carried Curry down the mountain to the trailhead. I think this is a wonderful example of helping other people. In our earlier show, Greg Perillo talked about Native American Indians. Indians had great respect for the environment and conserved their natural resources. Scouting also teaches our youth to conserve natural resources. You may have heard the expression, whatever you take in, you take out. In Scouting, we call this leave no trace. When our Scouts go camping in the wilderness, they use low-impact camping. Their camping activities will have a minimal impact on the environment. When they set up camp, the tents are all spread out. This minimizes foot traffic in any one particular area and the subsequent damage to the ground. For meals, they will typically hydrate dehydrated food. The packaging for this food is generally small and light, making an ideal choice because it can be carried out very easily. When the Scouts break camp, they restore it to its original pristine condition. Wilderness camping, the game, teaches our Scouts to respect the environment, the purpose. Lord Baden-Powell understood the need to teach skills to Scouts. He recognized that they learn best when they're having fun. It's no wonder he said, Scouting is a game with a purpose. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Billy. Very, very impressive. Very nice. Okay, now we go to the evaluations. And I was evaluated by Joan Maurizio. Joan, please. My speech was on my honor. I will do my best because in the Google, that's what it said. I didn't think it sounded exactly what Willie said, but
That was close.
well, I thought so.
I'm ready. On my honor, I will do my best. Fran's done that all her life. There's not a time when she has not done her best. I'm the one that's not listening. Yes, she projected sincere conviction and sincerity and conviction. She was very informational and a credible source. I'll learn to read one day when I grow up. She phrased her appeal in the audience's interest. If we're not interested in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts yet, we certainly are now. You captured us with your interest because you involved the guest, which I don't too often hear, but she was half involved in what you had to say. It was very nice. You used your facts and logical reasoning to support the views. Proper emotion, of course. And then you mentioned, just to back that up, Nancy stone-faced, and Peter was about to just let it all out. Your organization was effective. Your body language, a little quiet at times, but you know what? We got the message and it was effective. So it doesn't matter how quiet or how unvocalized you were, the message was there. It was very important. And yes, we're persuaded to accept your views. What I was surprised that you didn't actually show us photos, and I would like to have seen that, but we saw the scout picture, the Indian scout with the eagle, in the last show, so that was good enough for this show too. Memories. What did you like about the speech? I said it showed how very involved you are, as always. You've been involved in things all your life. It goes on and on and on with the community and the children. So there you are, living your life, and we should all aspire to do what you do. Thank you.
You didn't see the picture of my husband and me with Peter and the Scoutmaster?
I must have started writing out the stuff.
Didn't
I'm
show on the
sorry.
first
I
show?
apologize.
On the
I'll
show?
put my hat on and walk away. Bye, folks.
Thank you very much, Joan. Okay, Sue's evaluator is Diane King. Thank you, Diane. What type are you?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Welcome guests, and especially Sue. I absolutely really enjoyed that speech. It was, I think, remarkable. The goal of this speech was to give praise to somebody, and what more worthy person could she have chosen than the person she talked about, Maureen Tagatot, I believe. She listed all of this woman's attributes, and there were so many I really could not keep up. She started by saying that she was a school nurse, she was a scout leader, fundraiser chair, head of the OEM Office of Management, and she listed all of the things that this woman has done. Certainly a remarkable person that it's a shame she is no longer here. She contributed so much. Before I go a little bit further about what I think about the rest of it, at this point I would like to say there were so many things that she was well known for. I would have paused a little bit between each of her achievements to give it emphasis. She was a scout leader, she was a nurse, so that we could digest as you went on. Also, I didn't quite catch her last name. Maureen, and say it slowly and emphatically so that we would remember her. I love the way you picked that title. What type are you? Most of the times people would think you're talking about personality type. But no, you're talking about blood type. You brought the whole thing around together. Whether you were A, B, AB, O, people want to honor her with a fund drive so appropriate to her lifestyle, doing fundraising. And what type are you? By naming her speech that, she just brought it all together. She reminded you again about this wonderful person and how she volunteered so much and gave back, and let her volunteers and everyone else give back again by giving blood. I think it was a wonderful speech.
Thank you very much, Diane. Sue has a penchant for wrapping her speeches up,
she
I've
does.
noticed. She goes all around and it's
Then all of a sudden it just hits
got
you
the
what
bow
she's
on the
talking.
top.
Yep.
It always does. So anyway, our next speaker was Paul and Ken. You're evaluating our past district governor, our first district governor of the new District 83 back then, 2008, 2009. What to do with an axe? Ken, as long as you stayed far enough away from him, you felt safe, right?
Yes.
Okay, Ken Raftery.
I thank you, Fran, fellow Toastmasters and viewers. Yes, I've been watching Survivor All-Stars on DVD, and I know from that show the most important thing when you're on a desert island is fire and shelter. And on last night's episode, they built a raft. So it was ironic because in Paul's speech, he mentioned a desert island and said that those were the three most important things. But it was interesting that those three come about by using an axe. I would also imagine, based on the show, you need flint too. That's what they say on the show anyway. I've never built a fire myself. What do I know? But I really enjoyed the speech, and it perfectly fit in with the theme of the meeting, since the axe, of course, is an important tool. And the visual of the axe, added a lot. You could tell it looked quite old. I didn't realize till the end, though, that it was covered in something. I just thought that that was what the blade looked like. And I also liked the old book. That was like a great visual as well. And, at the end, you did a very nice summary. And I liked how you said an axe is your best friend. You said it must be kept sharp. I was thinking Sharf says keep it sharp. And I do have one critique, which in this case would be I have an axe to grind. I'm on a roll today. And I just thought that a large part of the speech was reading from the book, so maybe some more anecdotes and stories about your own personal experiences would have been good. Of course, with the time constraint, it's hard. And speaking of time constraints, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Ken. Oh, you're getting funnier as you get older, I'll tell you. All right, now Lucy is going to evaluate you, Paula. Okay, there she is. Lucy Kahn evaluating Paula.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster guests, viewing audience, and especially Paula. Paula, I like your speech. Get to the point. You really did it. and the title is In the Stars. I really like it because I believe in shining stars, and I have so many shining stars in my life, and one of my shining stars is Frank Ockerson, and I recognize her for that, for being a
Thank you.
big shining star.
It's gonna be too big for home.
You bring us about the history of the stars, from the beginning. So you have a good beginning, body, and conclusion. I like the way you tell about when you start with looking at the stars. And when you're talking about that, I remember what my father said, that in order to start and be successful, he said, aim for the stars and hit your goals and your dreams and go up in the sky and go for the moon, because if you fail, you're still among the stars. And I love that, because we always like to be successful in everything, and I know that you are successful, and being at District 83, I believe that you will, all our members of Toastmasters 83, District 83, will become the shining stars of everybody. And I like the history of the stars, how the Toastmaster International makes it us a shining star for everyone, and also want to make sure that you did have a good title like the Shining Stars for the District 83. And also, what could have done differently, maybe you can bring a big star to tell everyone that you are really the star.
Nice idea.
Thank you.
They have them in balloons, you know, the big
Yeah, I should
stars.
have brought one of those. I didn't even think about
Oh, well.
it.
What are you going to do? All right, and now we have Alex Voiland, who is evaluating Willie's speech, A Game with a Purpose. Welcome again, Alex.
Thank you. Madam Toastmaster, fellow guest, audience, and of course, Willie. You started with an excellent way of giving everybody a promise to be a scout or be a leader. The project is about organizing a speech. And from the start, you could show us how organized you are. You were dressed for success. You came to show what the Scouts are all about. And you also said the Scouts are the future leaders of America. And this is exactly what Toastmasters organization is. It's where the leaders are made. It started in 1910 by act of Congress. So you gave us the history of Scout organization, Boy Scouts organization. And the way you put everything together, it gave us an exact description of what the organization is, what the America is, and what you are all about. Your life represents Scouts organization. This whole program today truly describes what Scouts organization is and what America is all about. And I believe it's a perfect combination of a law, a leadership, and who we are today. Because in 1910, somebody decided, let's think about the future. Let's prepare for the future. And today, we are celebrating this future in this great country. And Will, thank you very much. It was a great speech. If I could just give one thing that could help, is to give more speeches just like that.
It was a very good speech. Thank you very much, Alex. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Okay, folks, we're going to do table topics as long as the time holds out. Isaac, oh, you're there already. All right. Isaac, you came to America, these are all sort of thematic. You came to America as a young man. How do you think your life would have differed if you had never left Soviet Georgia? Alex Gilbinovich.
Isaac Gilbinovich. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I wouldn't probably be alive now if I didn't leave Georgia, because there was a civil war right after breakup of the Soviet Union. A lot of people died. My home city, which is the capital city, was half burned down. And when I saw pictures afterwards, just recently, a few months ago, I did not recognize my city. Wow. And I said, I have no reason to go back now. Even if I wanted to, I don't have any reason, because I couldn't recognize the borough or the neighborhood I lived in. I was born there, and I couldn't recognize it. So if I didn't leave Georgia, I wouldn't be probably alive now. And thank God for my mom, who said, we have to go. And thank God for my brains when I said, yes, Mom, you're right. And here we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Isaac. Alex was before me, now Isaac.
It's okay.
You are absolutely right, Mr. Director.
Thank you.
I bow to your authority there. All right, we're going to have to tighten up the time on these next few questions. I'm watching the clock.
In 10 minutes or
Joan,
less.
carrying on in that theme, if you had to move to any other country in the world, where would you like to go?
I have to say, Madam Table Topics Master, is there any place that's really safe? He talked about where he was from. I look at what's going on in other parts of the world and where they're fighting and people being persecuted just because of what they believe in. And it's sad, you know, when I think about it, this is the best country, even though we don't agree politically, and there's a lot of things that have been topsy-turvy, it's still the best country in the world. As bad as it can seem to some people, it's better than ever. It's better than most other countries. I don't think I'd want to go anywhere else except here. I have no passport, so I'm stuck here anyway. Hallelujah, USA.
Thank you very much, Joan. Now, Paul Paradise, our cameraman today on camera too. All right.
Thank you.
You went to England a year or so ago on business and visited one of our fellow Toastmasters from the North Shore Toastmasters Club who lives in London. Would you ever join a Toastmasters Club in another country if you did business with that country on a regular basis, Paul Paradise?
Oh, I most certainly would, Madam Toastmaster.
I'll have to call right to Dee and tell him.
In fact, in our Mile Square Toastmasters, we have international Toastmasters all the time. We had someone from Korea there, and he spoke very good English. See, in Hoboken, we have Stevens Institute of Technology, which attracts a lot of foreign students. Right. So this gentleman was here. He came to see his son, and he was comparing our Toastmasters with his Toastmasters in Korea, and he described, I can't remember what he picked up that was unusual about our Toastmasters that he said he was going to take back when he went back to Korea, that he was going to talk to them about. I think it had something to do with the way we did, we did a table topic summary. So he said when he goes back, that's what he's going to bring back to his club, and he's going to have them do that. Another thing that we did, I don't know if he's going to take that back there, the winner of our table topics gets a Starbucks gift card. So I, mean, I don't know if they have that in Korea, but yeah, I would definitely, if I was in another country or even visiting, I would definitely go back, visit a club there.
All right.
Thank you.
Paul, is your friend Casey here?
No, she's not here today.
All right.
Do you want me to stay?
Can we call Amelia Verland then to please
Okay.
come up? Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
That's the second time she didn't come. I invited her again. So, Amelia, you're going to wrap up our show today.
Yeah.
Amelia, you know they're all about traveling, going places. I like to know what people are thinking.
Okay.
All right. My grandmother was a school principal who traveled around the world, but she went by boat. Her trunks were in the house. They were covered with decals from all around the countries where she landed. If time were no object, would you prefer traveling by ship or by plane to get to your destination, Amelia Verland? And where are you from now? Are you from?
Hello, everybody. I am actually from Ukraine.
Okay.
And I live in this country for about 35 years. But yes, I don't really like to travel by airplane. It does have its advantages. It's fast, but when I get in the air, I panic. How do I panic? I start chewing gum to just get not so crazy. But the boat is always a lot of fun. I know it takes much longer to travel by boat, but boat is not only a great transportation, but it's fun to be on a boat. I went on a couple of cruises. I enjoyed it. And yes, if I would have to go somewhere, I would prefer taking a boat out and travel by boat from one country to another. I think it's fun. Miss Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Amelia. That's great. All right, we're just about ready to close out. I'm looking at the time, and I can see it today. So how did you like this show today?
I thought it was a great show.
It was fun, and you added an awful lot. But I do want you and Willie to come back and get near to that DTM business. Try the video page. The video page, I'm talking Scouts now.
Scouts.
But the first 4 speeches, you don't need to be on TV. But the last one, you do have to have a feedback. That's why we always have the 3 people sit away from, they're not supposed to see the speaker, they're supposed to watch the video.
Oh.
So if we keep them out of the way where they can't see us, either go out in the hall or sit behind us, then they're watching it on the TV right up there in the sky.
Okay.
So it does work out all right. All right, now just to whet people's appetites, on the next show, the Indians are coming back, and I've given them a half an hour, and they're going to do something in tune with their tradition of April Fool's Day in Indian land. So do you really want to be put on my list? I can only have 25 people in the room.
I don't know. I'll have to see what's going on.
Let me
in
know as soon
April.
as possible.
Yeah, I will.
So this fills up. All right, so we have 1 minute and 24 seconds. And what would you like to say to the district?
Well, I'd like to say it's been a real privilege to serve the past 3 years. And my term is coming rapidly to an end, and it'll get here faster than I think it will be. But I am so proud of the district because my thoughts on the district are, maybe this is sacrilegious to say this. I know Toastmasters talks a lot about the DCP points and everything else, but I feel that if we're serving our community and we're serving all the members and we're serving their needs and meeting their needs, we have been a successful district.
You don't have to make all the numbers to be successful.
No, I agree with that.
Everybody succeeds in their own way.
Yeah.
And we have a shining star in our Business Leaders Club. We can't meet at our regular meeting place because there's a situation. So we've been having a joint meeting at the Smedley's meeting once a month. This girl, I signed her up last July. She completed a CC. She's Orthodox. She only misses meetings when she has to. And she can't come on TV because she can't be out driving on Saturday. But she's almost ready to get her bronze. I'm so proud of her. Yes, every Sunday or Monday I get emails about anything she wants help with because she has to stay off the computer and everything. But she's giving me information about being an Orthodox Jew, and I'm learning from her. It's amazing.
It's amazing what you can